Hip, pelvis, back pain. As soon as I hit week 20, all of these symptoms sort of like started happening. And honestly, you guys, I feel like I'm a bit see-through, you know? Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. I cannot believe that we are here already, but in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you my second trimester recap. So exactly like my first, where I'll be sharing symptoms, experiences, changes that my body has gone through, midwife appointments, scans, and everything else in between, and of course that all important bump update. For those of you that are new here, hi, my name is Laura Leanne. I am currently 29 weeks pregnant, so literally just entering the third trimester. I am a first-time mum expecting a little girl in December after 2 years of trying to conceive. When it comes to the second trimester, I do often hear that compared to the first, it's definitely a breeze, you've got more energy, it's just, you feel more human, and it's just a lot better than the first trimester. I can definitely agree that I do indeed feel more human, but I would say the second trimester, would I say it's easier than the first? Well, I would say it's different, and it brings on a new set of challenges, experiences and changes throughout the body. I would love to say that everything that I experienced during the first trimester has completely gone, and you know, I closed that door week 13, but unfortunately there are a lot of symptoms that I had in the first trimester that has followed me through to the second trimester. Just following on straight away from the last set of sort of like symptoms that I had was excess mucus, and it's not the sexiest symptoms to get, and honestly it's really gross. I had it where it felt like it was just sitting in the back of my throat, and it did tend to get a lot worse if I didn't eat by a certain time. Now I think this started around week 10 and 11, and I'm not gonna lie, it lasted until week 19, week 20. However, I still get it today at 29 weeks, but I would say I'd probably get it maybe once a fortnight. It's not that bad, it's more manageable, and sometimes another symptom of mine can sort of like offset it. And because of this symptom of having the excess mucus and things just sitting in the back of my throat, morning sickness did not leave me in my first trimester, and I'm not gonna lie, it lasted until about week 20. Obviously I have still been sick, I've still felt nauseous even to this day, but I wouldn't class it as morning sickness. As we all know, it's all day sickness, it happens all day. But now I would just sort of say it's like a nauseous, every now and again I'm gonna throw up. But it's not as bad as the first trimester. So in that sense, I have definitely felt a lot better. Going on to new set of symptoms, I feel like I don't like the word symptoms because it's not as if I have an illness, but new experiences, I guess, new body changes was pulling and stretching. Of course, this is, to me, one of the most obvious changes going on in the body because obviously you are growing a human in there, so things are definitely moving around, making space for your baby. I think this started around, let me just look at my notes, I think this started around week 14, but it sort of ramped up between week 16 and 18, and it just sort of felt like, well, your belly stretching really, or a little bit of tugging down there. And then it sort of turned into like round ligament pain, so even more pulling, the odd sharp pain, which I've been told is completely normal. And then that turned into hip, pelvis, back pain because she is positioned so far down into my pelvis, which is, you know, lovely. I'm of course getting the after effects of that. There has been times where I've been sat down for a while or led down for a while. I will go to get up and I feel like I'm sort of limping and struggling and waddling to walk because, yeah, because she's just so far down into my pelvis. which I've been told she's probably been that way since the whole of my pregnancy, with all of the scans and the midwife appointments that I've had and the physio checkups that I've had. Two of the biggest things as well is acid reflux and heartburn. So normally pre-pregnancy I've never really had any experiences with either of those. Heartburn, acid reflux can sort of feed into the excess mucus, which can then again feed into the sickness and nausea. Heartburn has been the worst, honestly. Like, yeah, it is so bad, and Gavin has been my best friend throughout this whole entire trimester. Gavin obviously being Gaviscon, and all these three symptoms, I would say, like as soon as I hit week 20, all of these symptoms sort of like started happening. But again, everything's moving around, and yeah, so heartburn can sometimes be one of those slow burning things that I felt throughout the whole entire day, or sometimes it can just hit me straight at dinner time and I'm suffering while sleeping. Another thing I have noticed is leg and foot cramps and restless leg syndrome. It's so like irritable when you're trying to sleep and you can't because you just need to move that leg. Like everything that I've had in regards to hip pain, pelvis pain, cramps, restless leg syndrome, all happens on my right hand side. There's nothing you can do about it. Obviously there's things that you can sort of help. You can take magnesium supplements, you can have a bath. Just some body changes that I've noticed during my second trimester. When it comes to me personally, I'm quite a veiny person, but during pregnancy and the second trimester, I would say my veins have become more visible on my torso area, and honestly, you guys, I feel like I'm a bit see-through, you know? I've not really had any sort of like breast pain whatsoever. I've not dealt with any of that, but I have had like a few, I wouldn't call it stretch marks either, because it's just like, it's not stretch mark, but it's sort of like a red patch. So I guess it is a stretch mark, just not what you think they traditionally look like. But the veins, I feel like they are so veiny, which to me is like a bit weird because I feel like I'm see-through, and all up my chest area as well. And then I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it in the clip later on, but the veins around my stomach area as well, is, you can definitely see them. So I feel like I can sort of see a map of my insides, but apparently that's just normal. It's just another thing that happens during pregnancy due to sort of like blood flow and things like that. So yeah, it's definitely something I've noticed. And then the last things I wanted to mention before we move on to midwife appointments and scans, if you've watched any of my other videos, you would already know that I sort of went through this during my second trimester, but if you haven't, I'll just lightly mention it here. When I was around 21, 22 weeks pregnant, I was tested positive for COVID, and like I mentioned in my other videos, mentally as well as of course physically, that just really drained me, and it wasn't the nicest things to go through. But because of that, I have been offered extra growth scans, and I have been for my first growth scan already, and she is growing just fine. There's nothing that's been indicated whatsoever. And then I just wanted to mention, because I completely forgot, but movements, oh, guys, I think along with seeing your baby for the first time and hearing the heartbeat for the first time, feeling them move is just one of those magical things. And I'm not quite sure if it's because of how low she is or anything like that, but just reading off my notes, my movements started around week 15, and it did start off as like little bubbles popping and sort of like muscle spasms, if that makes sense. Like, that's what they felt like. But then from week 18, I did feel like little kicks, or whether it was a punch or just a movement or whatever it was. They were definitely getting a lot stronger at week 18. And then I think it was at 23 weeks, I I saw her kick, and you guys, you have no idea how amazing that feels. And like I said, it was really quick, and I did manage to get a video because it was the day that she sort of did more, like I could see more than just one kick on the outside, and it was just an incredible experience because obviously at that time my partner could also see the kick. But yeah, it's definitely getting to the point now where when she moves, it can last a lot longer than usual, so you do get to see it and just watch her move. Sometimes it can feel a little bit like alien-like, especially when she like moves underneath your belly button and all you can see is your belly button like move up and down. So I really don't want to bore you in this video, but moving on to midwife appointments. During my second trimester, I've had my week 16, my week 24 and my week 28 appointment, and at all of these appointments they take a urine sample just to check your like protein levels and stuff. They take your blood pressure. And for me personally, I know this has not happened with every person. In every single one of these appointments, I have been able to hear her heartbeat. Yeah, basically it's just appointments just to check how you are, check some of your levels, your blood pressure, like I said. And if you've had a scan, they will then go through any information that has been put in your maternity notes. I think around the 23-week mark, I had my whooping cough vaccine. At the 28-week appointment, like I said, it's when you have your anti-D injection, and I had a blood test as well. So moving on to my scans. So in the UK with the NHS, you only get 2 scans. So you get your 12-week and you get your 20-week. I'm getting growth scans because I had COVID. I have done a separate video documenting the whole of my 20-week scan and doing a little gender reveal, so I will leave the link down below for that. But just quickly going over what happens, they literally just check everything. It's a more in-depth appointment, so they check to make sure all the limbs are attached, they check for cleft lip, literally they check everything. And then since then I have actually been for my first growth scan, which again is different because obviously with your 12-week and your 20-week you're able to go away with a nice scan. And whether or not this was just my experience or whether it's just not offered, but at my growth scan at 28 weeks I did not get a scan, and you couldn't really see clearly the scan, like what was on the monitor, because she was so zoomed in, because I'm assuming she was just measuring everything and just checking everything. She mentioned she couldn't really do a full check on the head in regards to measurements because she is so low down, she couldn't get to the head. Yeah, so that is everything in regards to the scans. I have probably missed out a lot of information in regards to body changes, experiences, symptoms, scans, midwife appointments, because honestly, although your second trimester is only around 2 weeks more than your first, I feel like, and although I said it's flying by quickly, there is a lot that happens in your second trimester. So yeah, although I've written notes, it's definitely hard to just keep track of everything. So to finish off the video, I'm just going to do a quick bump update. So this is currently my 29-week bump update. As you can see, I have definitely changed shape since the end of my first trimester, and of course in the weeks leading up, my bump has definitely gotten a lot bigger. So that is everything for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I would absolutely love for you to share your experiences down below. If you don't already, I would absolutely love for you to subscribe to join the family, and I will see you next week in a brand new video.